Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special session, Adobe Spark for Education, Train the Trainer Workshop. I am your host today, Tanya Avrith, and I am super excited to just kind of kick it off and share with you some of my learning, some of my ideas, and resources to help you get started as a trainer for Adobe Spark. So in this session, I'm going to start by doing a deep dive, just going straight into the tool and sharing with you what is possible. And then I'm going to share some resources with you that you can use to work with teachers that you might support. So the first part of the session will be an introduction basically to, or like more of a deep dive into Spark. And then I will move it over to resources and examples that you can access on your own. And that will be our session today. So let's just get going. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to walk you through Adobe Spark for Education. So here we go. So welcome. So if you have not ever logged in before, you're going to want to access the Spark for Education with your students. Now, if you want to learn more information about how to access Spark for Education, so that if you don't have licenses for your students, definitely check out spark.adobe.com/edu, and you can go there to find out what options you have for your school or district. So I'm going to go in with the assumption that we are using Spark for Education, and I'll explain when we log in why you would want to do that in just a moment. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to log in with my school account. And there you go. That's how simple it is, right? It's set up through the domain, and I just logged in with my EDU account. Now, why would I want to use Spark for Education? Well, first of all, you get all the upgraded templates, all of the templates, all of the features that usually you would have to pay about $10 a month for if you were just using a commercial account. But for education, you have access to all of the features completely for free. And you also want to be using this because it is COPPA and FERPA compliant. So, it adheres to all the privacy, all of the different privacy laws, and we are not collecting any data from your students. So let's just kind of dive in, and I'm going to walk you through how you would use Spark for with your students. So right off the bat, what is Spark? Well, basically Spark allows you to do there's three buckets for Spark. One is it lets you create graphics. Two, it lets you create beautiful videos. And three, you can create these really stunning visual stories like a website. And I'll walk you through the three in just a second. So if I were to start, and I'm gonna kick it off with just the graphic piece, what would I do? All right, so I will go here and I'm gonna go custom size graphic, and it shows you right off the bat what's available. So there's popular, social post, print, social profile, or standard. So these are great because in the standard profiles, it shows you the sizes for the videos. So if you want to app smash, you can easily do that and kind of pull in the right sizes straight off the bat. For what I'm going to do right now, and it's also great because you see all the print sizes, everything you need. So right off the bat, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do just the popular square, which is kind of like our very standard Instagram size. And the first thing it shows are these templates. Now with Spark for Education, you get access to over 35,000 templates, and including all of the premium ones. So if you were working with teachers, or if you're working in a school and you want to put together a training and you're looking for a visual to kind of get people to come and you don't have a lot of time and maybe, maybe graphics are not really your jam, you could go in and you can start with a template that already exists. So these are some of the save the date. Let me just go here. Let me show you school. All right. All right. So look at these, all of these: Unite Against Bullying. These are some really good ones. Hamlet, supplies for schools. See, when you see this little tag, this little yellow tag, that's because it's a premium template. And because you have the education version, you get access to all of the premium templates as well. School's out, so it's time to rock. Education for the future generation. So there's so many. So let's just go here. Let's just see this one. So back to school. This is a really nice template. And if I wanted to just start with a school template like this, and I wanted to change it, the way that Spark works is, if you click on it, you can edit it. Okay, so as long as you double click on something, you can change it. So for example, that's the color. Maybe I want to change that to a red. If I click on that, I could change the number, or I can go here, right? And this lets me customize the look and feel of my work. I can go here, I can replace the image. It's gonna school supplies, right? So I can go in really quickly and make all the necessary adjustments that I might want. Maybe I don't want that, I'm gonna keep it. But it's pretty straightforward. And then, so 30% of all school students includes background. So don't forget to bring your supplies for the first day. So everything that I'm doing, you can see, is being changed right away. So I just, was able to kind of really swiftly make all the adjustments that I want, and voila. And then when I'm ready, I could either download it. In this case, I could download it as a PDF if I wanted, send it to my parents, or I can share it or send to Google Drive or publish it. Now, what's great about publishing is, let's say you have students working on graphics with you. They can submit their graphics into an assignment on Google Classroom, or they can create a link. You can take that and you can have students share it in a Padlet or on a Wakelet. So it's really easy and quick to share your work with your class, and for your students to submit their work or share it or publish it as well. Now that was from a template, and you saw how quick and easy it was to create something. I'm going to show you really quickly some of the new features that are available when you're creating something from scratch. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to demo one of my very favorite demos of all time, and this is my space dogs. All right. So I love to show people what's possible with Spark. And in the last few months, we've had an enormous amount of updates for Spark Post, like a tremendous amount. So I'm going to share with you some of the big highlights from the newest update. So let me go here, and I love doing this demo. So I'm going to go under space, and let's see if there's any new space. Oh, that one's kind of cool. All right. So I'm going to choose my background. And right off the bat, you see it kind of goes into that small box. Well, I'm going to go here. It's going to move it to the back, so it's taking up the whole space. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go dogs. And I'm going to find my little space dogs. So I'm going to just add my little puppies in here. And I always joke, like, I love dogs, and I truly do. I have 2 of my own, of my sweet little puppies. And I absolutely love these little faces. So this is my favorite demo to do. This is a fun one to kind of demo with students as well. But I want you to imagine that, let's say, I was actually doing a novel study with my students, and I wanted them to be able to retell a scene visually from a book. And I had them create a collage. So this is what I would have them do. I would go in and think of the background of the scene, think about the different elements that they want to include, and then I'd have them start to create that visual story. Now, watch how quick it is to make this look good, because right now it looks terrible, but watch this. All right, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to remove the background. So as long as you are clicked on the image that you want to remove the background, when you go into remove background, you're able to take out the backgrounds. And notice I did choose images that were really easy to distinguish the back from the front. Hence, like I chose these kind of white backgrounds or black backgrounds, or, you know, not a lot going on. It makes it a lot easier. It's a lot cleaner cut when you choose with that in mind. But look how nice these look. I mean, in the past, when you wanted to do something like this, you would have had to know how to use some of our higher end photo editing tools, which are still super classic and valuable to know. But, you know, you'd have to know something like Photoshop in the past to be able to do this effectively. Now, I could really create something that looks pretty decent fairly quickly. And look at this guy. Look at that. Come on. I even created dimension in here. This is amazing. And so you can really think about really cool ideas with students that you could do through visual storytelling and creating these like really beautiful collages. You know, I could go in here and let's say I don't like that earth. Maybe I want to make it a little more hokey. So I can even choose you know, from icons. So I don't really love the way that this one looks, but like you kind of get the gist. Like I can add, there's all these really high, these vector icons that I could choose from, or I can go into design assets and I'm going to go in here and see if I can find something that looks a little more comic-y illustration. So I can. So there's all these very cool illustrations that are pretty awesome. So I'm just going to go here. And I just pulled one in. So this doesn't really look so earthy, but yeah, I kind of like the original one better, but just to kind of give you a sense of what's possible. And then I can go in here under text and I can choose some text to give it more context. So all of these you have access to with the EDU version. And they're always adding more. There's some amazing text sets that you can choose from. I love typography, or I can start from scratch. So here, I'm going to just go here, sleep tight, just for the sake of what we're working on right now. So it's going to add it. And it actually looks really cool, right? It looks like an ad. I mean, students can really pull these together really nicely as well. And, you know, I can change the color if I wanted. I can choose a color that I use, and I could do the same from this side, right? So it's, you know, I choose the color here. Okay, so, you know, you can really play around, and there's like a lot that's possible with Spark Post that looks really good. Now, this is a beautiful graphic, and if I want, I could save it as a JPEG, PDF. I can share it again. As I mentioned, I could publish it. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you what else is possible, because I can also animate it. So when you have text on there, you can animate the text and save that as an MP4. Okay, so if I wanted to save that as an opening for my YouTube channel, I know my son, like last year, he was so into Minecraft, and I would have him create Minecraft videos that he had a YouTube channel. Well, he still has it. He hasn't added much to it, but he has a YouTube channel, and he created a logo in Spark. And then he created an intro to his videos that he added. And it was really cute. So he edited those together, and you can do that with Spark Video. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. So I love these, and I love what's possible with these different animations that you could save as well. So I'm going to save it as an MP4, because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it in just a second. So I'm going to go download. All right. So as I'm saving that, you know, this is Post, and Post is great. And I'll share some pedagogical approaches to how you might use this later on with your, you know, with your students as well. But from a tool perspective, it's really clean and straightforward, and really students' work just looks really good when they pull these things together. And, you know, I could also change I could resize. So let's say right now this is like an Instagram. Maybe I wanted to change different sizes. When I click on those, it gives me all the elements. I would just have to move them around. But it's still much faster than starting from scratch, right? So everything you need to kind of get going is really straightforward and easy to do. And then if I wanted to, I could actually choose some variations of designs. And here, I'll just show you really quickly what happens. Look at that. Look how cool that is. So it'll customize the look from other designs. How neat is that, right? I actually really like this one. I think that looks so cool. But yeah, so like you could even pull out like inspiration designs and choose that, and then it'll customize the look based on the inspiration design that it's shared. And then of course you can brandify your work, and I'll show you really quickly what that means. So under design, and I'll show you in just a second, you can create a logo with your students. And I actually have a lesson plan that I'll share with you at the end called Got Spark Now What? But you can create a logo, and I usually would have my students start, they create a logo, they create an About Me video, they create a digital portfolio. They then all take the logo and they upload it into their brand, and then they use that for their demonstrations, their artifacts, so that their work has this really cool kind of look and feel. So when I go in here now, oh, there's all these great brands, and you can see so many. So here's an example of mine. Okay, so I've just changed it, and then if I go Brandify, it now adds my logo. Okay, and so that's my piece of work. And here, I'm gonna go back to design. Okay. And I could choose it again, and it'll add like different elements. I think because I took out the color, it's not showing up. But you know, if you have different colors or variations for your brand, it'll pop up and it'll kind of add the look and feel of the work that you've created, the brand look that you have. So these are all some really cool features. The other thing that's new and possible as well, which I absolutely love, is you have backgrounds. So I have a background here, but let's see, I'm going to use the space one that they had, and let's see what happens. So let's go add to background. Oh, that's kind of cool. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty amazing, like what you can do in here. Look at that. It's pretty impressive. So well, this visual is just getting cooler and cooler. So I just added a variation of space, and like now it's flipped. Oh my God. So you're watching me kind of like the thinking of like how my designs are pulled together, but it's pretty impressive like what you can do in here. And then I can go down here, and if I go into libraries with your class, you can actually create a library of assets that you can share with your students. So if you have like a bunch of assets that you want students to use, you can, or if a group is working together, they can also. There are actually like different kinds of libraries. There's shared ones, there's my libraries, and there's even public libraries that you could and follow and have access to their resources as well. So it's really cool. So hold on, I'm gonna go here. I had saved one, but I'm gonna save this one as JPEG because I'm gonna use it in just a second. This is like my space dog. So actually I should have named it before so it doesn't just show up as my post. Probably like my post 22 because I forget. All right, so oh, and of course, for all of my projects, I can add a contributor to work on it. Now, it's not like a Google Doc where you would work simultaneously in real time. It's more like I would work on it, and then I'd have to get off, and then you could continue working on it. For video and page, the owner basically is the one that would have the last final say to publish. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk you through Spark Video. So I'm gonna go under here, I'm gonna go slideshow. And video is great for so many reasons, but I really love this. So right now I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna say about me, okay? So let's say I was gonna share more about myself. Maybe I'm gonna add my space dogs in there because I'm gonna make that part of my story. But I love this because you can have students really start like telling really visual stories inside of posts, and then they can build out those visual stories in a more compelling way and then download them, and then insert them into video and be able to talk about their work and explain themselves and really tell more compelling stories with their voice. And this is really important because, as I always say, like when technology is used effectively, essentially three things happen. It helps your students make their thinking visible. It allows you to hear from every learner, and it allows students to share their work. And so this is really like all of that all together. So this is great. When you start with Spark Video, and you start, it starts you off with a story template. And I like these because they're not overwhelming. They don't give too much to the student where they're taking away from like their creativity. In this case, it's just enough. So I'm going to tell what happened because I'm going to talk a little bit about me and kind of tell about my journey. And so I'm going to click on that. I could have started from scratch and just added the slides, but I like this. This is so great, especially for like English language learners or students who might need like that extra scaffolding. So it starts like who, when, and where, and you see like this little red button is what you will press to record. So you really want to get kids to press record. That's like the best part about any of these tools, right? This happened, then this happened, how it ended, reflection. So I love this. Notice how it automatically has this font, this theme. So I'm going to switch it to my brands. See how nice this is? So like the student's work really starts to have this like look and feel, and it's going to load my brand assets. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to start with who. So let me go in here and I can add video. So maybe if I have a video, I can add it. In this case, I don't. So I'm going to go to photo. I could take a photo. So if I wanted to right now, I'm not going to this second, but I could just take a photo of myself and insert it. Or if I was working on something and I was just holding it on my Chromebook, I could just take a snapshot and there it would be. But I'm going to upload a photo. All right, I have these really funny, quirky ones. So here, this one's hilarious. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to start with myself. I can actually zoom out a little bit because it's a little bit too close. There we go. And I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. So describe who or what your story will follow. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to my story and how I ended up at Adobe. All right, so I didn't talk much about myself when I first started this session, but let me share a little bit about myself as we're about to continue. Here. So first of all, hi. I just kind of jumped into it assuming you know who I was. I'm Tanya Avrith, and I work at Adobe on the communication and on the evangelism and community team. And I'm a Google innovator and Apple Distinguished Educator, but I'm a teacher, and I'm also the co-author of the Google Infused Classroom and the Microsoft Infused Classroom. I've worked as a coach for many years, and I've been working in this space for over a decade. So I implemented my first one-to-one in 2011. It was iPads. I supported a school and MacBooks. And then in 2012, we were the very first school district in all of Quebec, I'm from Montreal originally, to implement a one-to-one with Chromebooks. And it was really, really innovative at the time because nobody, at least definitely no one in Quebec, and very few people in all of Canada were doing anything like that. So it was super innovative. So fast forward, here I am today, and my story is crazy, but I'm actually going to share more of it right now while I create my video. So just to kind of give a little sense about me. So that was my first. So I'll share how it kind of got started. So that's a little bit of me, and I'm going to share the story of how I ended up here at Adobe. So 4 years ago, so let's go in here, find free photos. I was flying to Isti, and I was supposed to be on a plane the night before, but I ended up taking a flight the next morning, and I ended up sitting next to my future boss. on the flight. And this was 4 years ago. So I am not really sure what to say. Being put on the spot. But I should have probably said that story when I was recording. All right, so let me remove that. I moved to Florida 7 years ago. So my story is going to have two stories. The one I tell you while I'm explaining it and the one that I just put in really quickly. So fast forward, here I am today. But it was definitely an interesting journey. I was teaching full-time, and the man that I met on the plane, his name is Ben Forda. He reached out to me and said, I would like for you to work with us. And I said no. And it took about a month of freaking out and trying to figure out if this was the right fit for me to decide to leave the classroom. And that was 1.5 years ago. And I haven't looked back. So let's see, Adobe, let's say Florida. All right, let me add that. So just to kind of give you a sense of what's possible here. So I can add photos. I can also add, let's go here. There we go. Icons. Okay. So I like that. All righty. All right, it's being a little finicky right now. So icon, let's go here. All right, icon, there we go. So you can add icons. So you could have students telling stories just with icons. Think about that for a second. Having kids literally like do a book review and only be able to use icons. Think about the level of synthesis that it would have to happen for them to think about the keywords to explain the different pieces that are attached to the review or the sequencing. So it's really great skill sets for kids to be able to learn. I now live in Florida for the last 7 years, and I love it. All right, so I'm not going to get into it too much. I think I'm a little too flustered to tell a story and explain the different parts, but just to give you a sense, like you can add icons, okay? You can add words. And what's nice about it is literally how simple it is. It is truly like incredible how easy it is to create something that looks really, really beautiful. I moved here from Montreal, Canada. And what's nice also is like, even though you're seeing me do this super quickly, watch here. I'm going to just add a little bit of a mood, a little playful mood. And it comes with all these visuals, all of these Creative Commons free to use and share music sounds. And when you press preview, welcome everybody to my story and how I ended up at Adobe. Oops. I moved to Florida 7 years ago. I now live in Florida for the last 7 years, and I love it. I moved here from Montreal, Canada. Okay, so my story literally sounds like someone who's in 3rd grade who's like super fragmented would put it together. But as you can see, I am recording live and demoing all the same time. So that's why it's a little bit fragmented. But you saw how quick and easy it was to pull this together. Sounds good, it looks good. And when I'm ready to share, I would just go publish. I would create a link, and I could also download it as an MP4. And I didn't even insert the pieces from before, but I could upload photos that I had created in post and explain my thinking. So it's really dynamic to be able to create really quick visual stories. You could have students use this even for vocabulary. Like if you have English language learners and you want them to create a vocabulary journal for themselves through images and icons, this is a great way for them to talk, record themselves, create the vocabulary, and make meaning of high interest words that they're interested in learning more about. So like there's just so many options for these visual storytelling, like to be able to tell these really interesting visual stories. So right now it's just generating a link. It'll just take a second. And I'm going to Okay, perfect. And as you can see, I could have my students turn it in on Classroom, but I'm going to just copy this for a second because I'm going to walk you through really quickly the next piece, which is creating a web page. So I'm going to go in and I'm really quickly now going to create a more of a written journal and show you what's possible. So really quickly, so Tanya, Avrith, and I love this for like a showcase portfolio. Okay. My portfolio. Alrighty. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to go photo. I'm going to go find free photos. And I'm going to go, I don't know, Montreal. It's kind of my home. It's where I'm originally from. Oh, that's Old Port. Oh, God, I even know where that is. I miss it. And then as I scroll down, I can add more to it. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to introduce myself. Oh my gosh, I miss home. Okay, and then I'm going to go save. And then I'm going to add a little photo about me. So this is what I just took. I paste it. It's going to pop right in. I will be able to play. And then I can create a little glide show. And obviously this is not perfect because I'm doing it super quickly. I can add text here. My move from Montreal. Okay, and maybe I'm going to have more videos to explain. Maybe I'm going to have more photos. Okay, so I'm just showing you really quickly how pretty it is. Obviously, I would make it look a lot better with text. I can add photos straight from there. Imagine these are like my photos, right? That's what's more important is for you to picture if I were to do this properly, what it might look like. I can add a split layout and add more video here. So it's a lot of endless possibilities. And when I'm ready, I would either be able to, again, publish and share the link. Okay, so it can create a link. And then I can also just preview it without publishing. What's nice is once this link gets turned in, the student can go back and edit, and then they don't have to return in the link. They would just press update. And so they don't, once it's published, and that's what's nice. They can really make it an update and get feedback. And so let's just go really quickly. I'm going to go into present mode and show you what it looks like really fast. And I didn't even get into themes, but so as you can see, I did this in like 4 seconds, but it looks really nice, right? So imagine student writing, okay? And I'm going to share an example in just a second. But this really takes student writing to the next level. And in a second, I'll show you some student examples. But before that, I just want to finish up our demo for the tool, okay? So as I mentioned, I could go back in here. I can choose a theme, okay? And it will automatically change the look and feel. So I'm going to just go there, see how it's different. I'm able to cut. This is a branded theme. So this lets me customize all the different features that are all the elements that are part of this, the specific brand and theme. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to really quickly show you the last piece, which is the branding piece. So I'm going to go under brands. And so as I mentioned, and I'm going to share this really great lesson that gets kids creating a logo, but I could have my kids create a logo and upload it. And then I would be able to choose the colors, the fonts, see, here it is, and all the different elements. And then I could create these branded assets. And then once I create the branded assets, and I'll show you in just a second, I could customize the actual brand. So that when I have all those templates, they have all the features that I want to show up and they're customized. For instance, like, see how there's like this little, like I'm able to customize on page, on video, all the different pieces. I'm able to customize the header and footer on my, here we go. So I could go like that. So let's say I wanted to choose a logo. So I could, here we go, the footer also, there we go. So I could really like, I could have a call to action. I could have a button. I could have them have a link. I can have my social, you know, Adobe for education. So when it clicks on it, it automatically goes there. I could choose the color of the background. So all of these different elements will show up on all of the assets that I create with Page. So it's really nice. And this is such a great feature. And so if you have like a class, if you have a, you know, if you're the teacher librarian and you're putting together assets for your library, like you can really make things look the way you want them to look. And that's really cool. All right. So let me share some examples with you for a second, okay? So these are student examples from my class when I was teaching right before I began working at Adobe. And these were, it was a high school class, and some of these examples are actually middle school from some of my colleagues, and some are actually elementary from some of my colleagues. So I'm gonna share one of my very favorites. And so this is an example of a Spark page with a student created video, and it's essentially a portfolio. It's essentially a portfolio from a student who was really sharing her growth as a learner. So it's a great example of a showcase portfolio. And it was really the story about her creativity. Okay, so let me show you this amazing video.
People always tell me that I have an old soul and a creative mind, that I was born athletic and academic. But they don't see me practicing, studying, drawing. They don't see my sketchbooks. But I wouldn't be here without my friends, my team, or my family. Because we all start somewhere.
I love that. Isn't it great, this piece right here? Look at that. To be able to see the growth of your learner from the time that they're like in kindergarten through high school, and how she's been able to showcase that story, I think is so powerful. For me, this is like the ultimate as a teacher, to be able to get my learners to be reflective in that way. This is such a great example. And then she shares more at, you know, at the end, she has her logo, Savannah Sketches. So she's customized it. And then her page also kind of walks you through more of that journey. So this is such a great example. Another one that I absolutely love, it's one of my very favorite examples, is this one from Savannah. So this is, think about like reimagining the way that you have students demonstrate writing. And I mean, it's just so powerful to think like, you know, we have students who have tools that are available to really have their work shine. So she interviewed her grandfather who saved Jews during the Holocaust. He was a Christian man, and their family saved Jews in their basement. And so this is a research essay, a personal narrative as well as part of her family history. And she's really taken it to the next level by being able to tell it visually. So, you know, it starts off like, think like a very traditional 5-paragraph essay where she's, you know, has her introduction and she's, you know, sharing, all these different, here, let me just go here. Can see it better. There we go. And she has research about the Holocaust, and she's created these graphics, and she's thinking about imagery. She's gone in and taken pictures and family history pictures. You know, these are clippings from magazines. He ended up being like a really famous, professionally, he went on to be a baker, and he started a restaurant in Miami. And then at the end, she interviews him. And this is just so incredible, like to have that piece of history for your family connected, I think is just so incredible. And so this is such a great example of like taking writing to the next level, where students are writing, you know, and editing and peer editing inside of a doc, and then turning their stories into these visual stories. And this is a great multimedia experience that really is the future of like the way that we're going to approach all kinds of writing. So, you know, I have so many of these stories, and I think what's really interesting to note is that like they're all from the same project, right? All of my students had the same project, but all of their work looked so incredibly different. And so when we provide students with professional tools, they will create professional work. And I think that when we ask our students to publish for an audience greater than ourselves, and we provide them with professional tools, the sky's the limit for them. Their work really does soar. And I think that this is such a great testament of like why these tools are so important for kids to be able to use and to learn those digital literacy skills. All right, now with that being said, when we talk about digital literacy skills, I'm going to share a couple resources that you're going to have access to as well. They'll be in the email that's sent out, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it will be in the description as well, so you can access all the resources. So first of all, I'm going to share with you this amazing 10-lesson curriculum that I created for students between ages of 3rd grade to 8th grade. And it's meant to be taught in a remote environment, or in a blended learning environment. They're all Hyperdocs, and it walks you through 10 lessons. So kid humans of Friends Don't Let Friends Use Word Art. So teaching about creation literacy, introduction to video, all about me. So taking the videos further, a lesson on feedback, virtual field trip, you know, one on my happy song, spreading love and thanks, logo challenge, and creating my portfolio. So these are made more for elementary, but honestly, they could be used with older students as well. Then when it's time to kind of move to older students, I'm going to be sharing this. And so remember how I said I have this great lesson that's basically got Spark Now What? And so these are your first 3 lessons to teach kids how to get started with Adobe Spark. It's a Hyperdoc, and I'm going to share this with you as well. And it's going to look like this. So you're just going to, you know, create your edX account and be able to access this lesson. And basically what you do is you have them create a logo, a video, and a web page. Okay. And then it walks you through the branding, and you can customize this lesson for yourself, but everything you need to get started is right there. It's a great lesson. I've used it myself, and it's really, really good. Okay. So you'll have that as well to get going. Now, if you're not familiar with the Education Exchange, really, really quickly, let me just walk you through that. So on the Education Exchange, there are hundreds and hundreds of lessons, self-paced courses, and you can go through all these different options. And I really like the way that our distance learning page is set up. Everything you need is in one place. So you have K-12 lessons, and these lessons are all created. They're very content rich. There's over 400 of them, and they're all designed using, they're cross-curricular, and they're all designed using Google Docs. And so what's nice about that is when you open them up, you can customize them. So this is a Con and Create one. There's also some projects that were created with this company called Better Lesson, but everything you need to get started is there. You have student sample, you have screenshots of how to use the tool. So everything you need to get going is right there. And they're really great topics. They're super timely and interesting. There's ones on social justice and social emotional learning. So this is such a great resource. And as I said, I'll share all these resources. And then finally, the last one that I want to make sure that you have access to is, okay, so this is when the pandemic first began in March, I created this blog post that basically gets you started with our kits. And this is a PD toolkit that I'm going to share with you. And it's a great resource, everything you need as a trainer to get started if you are teaching Adobe Spark is right here. And let me walk you through it super quickly. And we have, by the way, training kits for Rush, XD, Photoshop, Illustrator, Acrobat. I mean, you name it, we have a training kit for it. It's all on Education Exchange. But this one in particular is valuable. So when I go in, here's the links to get started. So it automatically has a remixable template that you can use to invite people to your PD. It also has one with the agenda. Then it has the slide deck that you can force a copy and use. Okay, so this is really, really great. It has everything you need, okay, that you could use, and it has all these examples and samples. So you could use this and all those like lessons that I would share in YouTube. So I created this. So everything you would need that I would use is here. And then it also comes with a facilitator guide. So you have access to this guide as well that has all of my notes. So how I explain every single slide. So you're not, doing this from scratch. And then it has a login page to help people get started of how to log in for Spark for Education. And it even has email series, like day of the email, like everything that you need, like to send out is ready for you to go. So, we have this resource for you ready to go so that you can be successful as a professional developer when you are, starting off your journey with your teachers on Spark. Now, when you go down, it has, everything that you need. It has some videos, and you're kind of good to go. And over here, there's a few more resources. And of course, I always say, definitely tell people about the Adobe Creative Educator program. We have our level 1 and level 2 badges and courses, and they are the Creativity for All and Design Your Creative Class courses on Education Exchange. And everything you need is in this webpage. And as I said, I will share all the links with you. But it's an amazing community. We have really fun swag, and on our Facebook page, we have bi-monthly challenges, which are so much fun, with opportunities to win even more swag. And when pandemic ends, we will be doing tours and meeting with our community more face-to-face and hosting a lot more events face-to-face. But in the meantime, we have a lot of events that are going on through social, including the Adobe Creative Educator live stream show, which you can find every single week on Facebook, on the Adobe for Education channels. And so every single week, there it is. We interview different people from around the world, creative educators. 2 weeks ago, we actually hosted Ludacris, which was super cool. We interviewed him and his children, his 2 daughters. So it's a pretty awesome show. We have a lot going on, and it's definitely worth checking out. So let me show my face. So there I am. So I hope that you got some great information. I hope that you feel, kind of ready to take this on with your teachers if that's what you're planning on doing. And feel free to reach out to me at Tanya Avrith. That's probably the best place on Twitter. Of course, share with me on Adobe EDU Creative the amazing work that you're doing with your teachers, with your students. I look forward to hearing about all the creative things that are happening with your classroom. So I wish you all the best. Please, please, please stay in touch, share. And I look forward to staying in touch. Okay, have a good day, and I'll hear from you soon. Bye.